Monday evening and I've chosen possibly the worst place to start this vlog because I'm not looking my best and I'm literally lying in bed. It is 10:54 p.m. so it is Monday. I am starting the vlog on a Monday, but only just. It's already been a fantastic reading week because last week I read the majority of The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson, which is her newest release, and I just didn't quite finish it last night. Granted, I had 100 pages left, so there was still like a decent chunk. With that kind of mystery thriller, those 100 pages were so addictive to read. And when I woke up this morning, my husband and I were having a super lazy morning anyway. We woke up at a reasonable time, but we did not get out of bed at a reasonable time. And that's some of my favourite ways to spend my morning with him when he's actually home. Just chilling and really enjoying our lovely, very comfortable bed, but also just being with each other. He played on his DS. I finished reading my book. I read over 90 pages of The Reappearance of Rachel Price, and I finished reading that this morning. So I think starting the week off by finishing a book is a fantastic way to start the week. I rated it 5 stars. Honestly, it was absolutely fantastic. It was a weird one because I didn't have a good time reading it because I was so stressed the whole time. Belle was clearly meant to be a character that you couldn't particularly empathise with. She was very aggressive. She was a very hard character. She felt like she'd been done wrong by the world, which she had been. She's had a very tough upbringing. And, you know, she pushes people away so that they can't hurt her. Absolutely fair. But she was kind of likeable in a really dislikable way. She kind of pushed people away, but she was still a really relatable character. Not relatable, relatable's not the right word, but you really wanted to root for her. She was a great character. All of the characters were incredibly well written, and those last 100 pages, man, they were so good. I was stressed while I was reading it, but it was fantastically written. I put loads of tabs in. I put loads of tabs in my book. I'm not quite at the level where I want to annotate my books because I feel a bit funny actually writing in my books, but tabbing I like. Finished that this morning, so rated that 5 stars. Already finished one book this week. Off to a fantastic start. So tonight I'm going to be starting The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. I've also used an Audible credit on this, so I will be co-reading it. I believe this is kind of relatively heavy emotional literary fiction, which generally isn't my genre, but it's had so many good reviews. I actually own a copy both in my personal library, and then this is from the wedding library because it's the book club pick for this month. I can't remember if I already said that. I may have already said that. So I really should have read it already, but this is the incentive I need to actually read it, so I'm going to be starting that tonight. And then in terms of an audiobook that I'm reading when I drive, because that's the only time I really listen to audiobooks, and I am doing more driving at the moment than I have done previously. When I was driving back from my mum's house yesterday, I started listening to Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's my first ever Taylor Jenkins Reid book. I'm so excited about it. I was looking at it on Storygraph earlier, and 10 of the people that I follow or am friends with have already read this book, and not one of them rated it lower than 4 stars. So I'm already really enjoying the book. The audiobook narration is absolutely the way to listen to it. It's a full cast recording, so every character has their own narrator, and the whole thing is done in interviews. There's probably no longer than a couple of minutes at a time that one character is speaking. The narrative voice changes very frequently, and it's really well done. It genuinely feels like I'm listening to a documentary rather than listening to a fiction book. Like, to remember that the band and these people are not real people. It's so well written. I'm very much enjoying it, and it's only 9 hours, so I've listened to 2 hours when I was driving home yesterday, so I've only got 7 more hours to go. I'm not sure I'm gonna have 7 hours of driving this week, but I'll listen to a bit each time I do drive. So that's what I'm currently reading. Welcome to the vlog. Let me know what you're reading in the comments, and I'll give you some updates later in the week. I really intended to put my camera down somewhere, but it seems I've covered every area in my house with plants or stuff, so can't do that. Hello, it's Tuesday. It's a more reasonable hour. I've made an effort to film this while the sun is still out because there's a real chance that I wasn't going to do that because because it is currently about 10 to 6, 5 to 6 in the evening, and I've not done much today. I had to get up for our cleaner this morning, and I think just having someone else in the house and having to be perceived by another human wiped me out a little bit. And I got a few bits done while she was here, you know, some tidying bits that I needed to do, put some laundry out, things like that. But then when she left, I tried to be productive and I just didn't do it. I needed a nap. Not doing very well at the moment, but work in progress. I've got a tap class tonight, so I'm just making my dinner and then I'll go get changed and I'll go to that. The advantage of my tap class is that it's just short of an hour of driving. Same as my ballet class, my weekly ballet drive. It's about an hour round trip of driving, so I get to listen to another hour of my audiobook, which is currently Daisy Jones and the Six, which I'm very much looking forward to listening to a bit more of today. I only managed to read about 20 pages of The Kite Runner last night, which, it was fine. It was good enough in terms of like engaging. Yeah, not pulled in straight away, but also I was tired and I fell asleep, which is also good because I was a bit worried that I wouldn't sleep well. Yeah, I've managed to tick a few things off my list. I've got a couple of computer bits done. I've just watered all my house plants. There's some new leaves coming through. It's all very exciting. I've had the window open today. It's been sunny and the microwave is pinging because my dinner is nearly done. Hello, it's Wednesday. It's only 1:45 in the afternoon, so a bit earlier in the day of an update from me. I have had a very chilled day so far, actually. I spent a little bit longer in bed this morning than initially planned because I woke up with a bit of a headache and I didn't want to rush things. And then I was just kind of in a productive mood. Went and did stuff that I needed to do, even though I didn't want to do it. My day has changed ever so slightly. Originally, I don't know if I explained it very well last week, but last week I went to help with a special educational needs dance class just as an assistant. I basically just got to partake in the class and hold hands with the kids who needed some more support, and it was just like an hour of playing, essentially. It was super fun, and I wasn't sure whether it was going to be a weekly thing or a one-off thing, and it turned out it was a one-off thing. But the other teacher that's meant to be there today isn't very well, and she's asked me to go instead, so I am going again. It's been kind of a weird change of plans, because at first I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this as a weekly thing, and then I was like, okay, no, it was just a one-off, and now it's back on my schedule, so I don't have as much time to do the things I thought I was going to do today. But that's fine, because I was just about to start editing a TikTok and I was thinking about filming this clip and what I was going to say about going to help with this dance class. And I know I've been very hesitant to talk about anything to do with employment or career. But basically, it's all been up in the air. I've mentioned a couple of times that I had somewhat of a traumatic incident a couple of years ago, and I thought I would just explain it because I want to have it out there. I don't want it to feel like a secret, and I'm not ashamed of it, and it's something that's had a huge impact on my life. So I'm going to explain how I got fired 5 weeks before my wedding. Wow. I started working with this company and there were red flags from the off. The website looked like it was made up. It didn't look real. I got called in for an interview. I applied for the job. They wanted to interview me later that day, but it was like an hour drive from where I live, and I was like too stunned. I just couldn't same day turnaround. So I went and interviewed with them the following day. It was a Friday, and then I met the boss and his kind of assistant, and they hired me basically on the spot, and I started work the following Monday, which was, in hindsight, big red flag. Should not have been that fast, should have been more formal. Either way, I needed a job, so I took it. And it started off well, and I was the founding member of the media production team, so I was using my media masters and qualifications, and also basically doing a lot of organisation, which is my strength anyway. And it was all going well. For the first 3 months I was the only person in my department. Then someone moved over from one of the other teams, and he became, very quickly, we worked really, really well together. Yeah, the team continued to grow, and the boss continued to be an absolute psycho, but it was kind of in this like entrepreneurial spirit way. He was famous on LinkedIn, and he was just a walking red flag. But things got more stressful, and it just a lot more intense, really quickly, and it started to have a massive impact on my mental health. I was really struggling. My self-worth was through the floor, and for the first time in years I started experiencing really severe panic attacks. It was really scary. So kind of towards the end of the summer I started having appointments with my doctors, and I decided I decided to change what antidepressant medication I was on. So I was going through a huge change with that. All the while the job was getting only more stressful, and the communication was already very poor but getting worse. And we had several meetings about it. I said to him, look, I think I'm autistic. I'm waiting on an autism diagnosis, which means I have trouble sometimes processing things, and I will get there in the end. It just takes me a little longer, and I need adequate communication to do that. And he said, yep, going to do that. It's going to be great. Of course it is. And then we had a week where the colleague that I spent almost all my time with was ill, but he was on holiday the following week, so he didn't want to take time off while he was ill because we needed to do the work while he was on holiday. But what happened is he then made me ill, and I had to take time off sick whilst he was on holiday, and we both ended up being off. I worked a couple of half days during that week, and I tried my best, and then on the last day of the week I worked from home, but I said, look, I have stuff to do, so I need to work even though I still feel like crap. And I randomly got a Zoom link from my boss, and I was told to join this meeting. And I didn't turn my camera on. He said, why haven't you got your camera on? And I was like, well, I'm still not very well and I don't really want to be on camera right now. And I should have known from the off, I did know from the off, that HR and his assistant were also in that meeting, and I knew it was bad. But he'd clearly been coached on what he should and shouldn't say before he went in, because he definitely was someone who talked before he used arguably the brain he didn't have. He said all the right things. He said, you've been really great with us, you've achieved some wonderful things, you're a great person, you're really skilled, but this company is always going to be fast moving and that's never going to change. Basically taking what I'd said to him in private, which was, I need more time to adjust to the changes you're requesting of me, and spun it on its head. Essentially said, without saying it, he was saying, we're not going to make any adaptations for you. This company moves at the pace I want it to move at, and you can't keep up, so we're going to terminate your contract. This was 5 weeks before I got married. It was a strange moment because the HR representative said, is there anything you want to say? And I, through tears, said, there's lots of things I want to say, but I'm not going to say them, which is arguably one of the most mature things I've ever done, because since then I have not been very held back in saying what I don't like about this man and this company. In that moment I was very restrained. And then the next thing HR said to me was, you're going to have to give us your AirPods back. So I'm really glad they valued my my work and my well-being. They just wanted their AirPods back. Priorities. So that happened, and the following week I went back into the office to get all of my stuff. I'd given a lot of my own equipment and video stuff into the office. I said a very tearful goodbye to my colleague, and I was on my way. And that was obviously a hugely traumatic time for me, not just because of my own struggles with my mental health, but because of the way it happened and why it happened, because essentially I got fired for being autistic, but not in so many words, and they would never ever admit to that, and he was clearly very carefully coached to say the right thing to me, but I was given no prior warning before that. It was just that he didn't like me, and I wasn't going to agree with everything he said just because he said it. I advocated for people that didn't have the voice to advocate for themselves. I was prepared to say no to some things. I was prepared to disagree with someone if I had a differing opinion. Just because someone's your boss doesn't mean you have to agree with everything they say and do. And if they're a good boss, they should take your opinion on board and actually listen to the words you say. But my boss was not a very nice person, so that was horrendous. And since then I've just been in some sort of crisis state since about what to do with my life and my career. There is a wasp. Yeah, so I've just not really known what to do with my life since. It was a really tricky time when I actually got fired, because obviously my immediate thought was to jump straight into applying for jobs, get something fast, but then I knew I was getting married, so it would be, okay, I'm gonna agree to work with this company, but then in a few weeks I need to change my name, but then actually I almost immediately need to ask for time off because I'm going to get married, and it was just horrendous timing wise. And then the trauma kind of really settled in, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what job I wanted. I was scared of applying for jobs in case I ended up in an environment like that again, and honestly I'm still kind of in that position. It's not just being scared of being in another really toxic work environment, it's knowing what I want to do with my career. It's knowing that working in a fast-paced environment isn't something that works for me, because I just get stressed and overwhelmed by it. But every single job seems to be a fast-paced environment, and there doesn't seem to be a culture for a slower workplace. And similarly, I don't know if I want to work in media production anymore. I don't really want to work in marketing anymore, because that is fast-paced. My ideal jobs would either be something to do with publishing, because obviously books are one of my special interests. I've made a whole channel about it. I've made my entire online persona about books, so that's clearly something I'm very interested in. Or one of my other special interests is dancing, so something to do with the dance world would be super fun. Having had a conversation with one of my dance teachers in a very low moment, I was kind of telling her this whole story of how I got fired, and I said that one of the things I considered back in the depths of having just been fired was becoming a dance teacher, was training to be a dance teacher, because dance is one of my special interests. I know enough about the technicality of dance, I think, to be able to teach it to other people, even though technically I'm not the best dancer in the world. But having weighed up the pros and cons, I kind of decided against that. But I didn't get to say that part, because the teacher I was speaking to kind of latched on and said, yeah, you should come shadow me, you could come shadow me in this class, should come shadow me in this class, and I could train you up, and it would be really fun, and it would get you out the house more, and it would be socializing, and it would probably be really good for your mental health, blah 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 blah. And it was just kind of like I've got nothing else going at the moment, why not? Yeah, so it's a very, very different path. In terms of technical dance teacher training, it's really expensive, so it's not something that I can fund right now. I've got someone who's willing to help me learn to teach and giving me opportunities. That's kind of the only thing I've got going for me. So I know this dance environment, I know some of the teachers, I'm lucky enough to call some of those teachers my friends. I'm just riding the wave. I'm absolutely just riding the wave. Yeah, that's the really long-winded way of saying I got fired. It was hugely traumatic. It was really tough on my mental health. I've since changed my mental health medications a further 3 times, because I just can't find a thing that fits. And that's kind of part of the reason my mental health is as bad as it is at the moment. It had a really, really negative impact on me. I'm slowly taking the steps in the right direction, doing the things that are good for my brain, good for my body, and trying to figure out what the career that fits with that is. I still don't know yet. For now, I'm kind of half training to be a dance teacher, and I'm not sure it's something that's going to stick. Right now, the thought of being in charge of a whole class is terrifying. You don't know till you try. So that's the story of how I got fired. That's why I'm attending more dance classes at the moment than I have been before. But a huge pro of that from a reading perspective is that I'm spending a lot more time in my car and driving. So I'm listening to a lot more audiobook, which is why I've been able to finish so many more audiobooks. With that said, it's now 2 o'clock. I have 2 hours before I need to leave to go help with this special educational needs dance class, and I've got stuff to do. This is a really unimportant clip, but I just wanted to document that I've just finished editing this TikTok, and I thought I'd start on editing a weekly vlog because I'm so behind, and I'm so aware that I'm so behind, and I've still got another hour 10 before I need to leave. But I'm wearing this Heartstopper t-shirt in the first clip in this vlog. I'm wearing the same t-shirt. Is that relevant to anything? No, but it's a little bit spooky. Hello, it's Friday. I think it's been a couple of days since I last filmed. What is this top doing? It's been a busy morning this morning. It is the afternoon. I don't know why I said this morning. Either way, I've just watched Sarah Corelli, is that how you, I think that's how you pronounce her surname, Destiny Sidwell and Hayley Pham all uploaded 24-hour readathons because they went on like a little book retreat together to this book house hotel, which looked, is it in New Jersey? Is it, I think they said Pennsylvania? I don't know American geography. But they all posted vlogs of the same readathon that they did together, and I feel like I've absorbed some of their sleepless insanity. I do this, like, especially when, like, I'm on nights out with people, which doesn't happen very often, but, like, when I'm around people and there's drinking, I give off drunk vibes. And it's like I feel drunk vibes, even though I don't really drink. Which is great, because I get all the fun parts without any of the sad parts. Pros and cons, but I feel a bit delusional right now, even though I've not stayed awake for 24 hours. But today has been a bit manic, and then this morning I had a PT session relatively early. It was at like 10 AM, which is earlier than usual, and I've had not an exercise heavy week, but I did 2 ballet classes and helped with a dance class on Wednesday, and then I had a tap class on Tuesday as well, so I'm a bit worn out. So the gym wasn't particularly fun today, but I did that, and then I barely had any time to come home, shower, get changed, and then go out to a doctor's appointment, which was a good doctor's appointment, but also it was to check in on how another new medication was going, but I couldn't get that new medication because there was a manufacturing issue. So I went to 4 different pharmacies and I couldn't get it anywhere. We had a chat, we've come up with a solution, and I need to go back to the pharmacy, but I knew if I went straight from the doctor's, they wouldn't have it on their system, let alone have it ready. It normally takes them 3-4 days to get a prescription ready, but I need it today. So I came home, had some lunch, watched 3 24-hour readathon vlogs, the same 24-hour readathon vlog from 3 different perspectives, and I've made a to-do list for today, and the sun is out, my back door is open, it doesn't feel as stuffy. These last couple days I've just felt like oppressive heat, like I just felt so warm and there was like no movement in the air. But today, or at least right now, the sun is out, it's still warm. It's like 20 degrees, which is unseasonably warm for this time of year in the UK. But yeah, it's 20 degrees. I've got my garden chairs out, so I might go sit in the garden later, which would be fun. They look a bit manky right now, but maybe I'll try and clean them a little bit. But either way, the back door's open, there's a little breeze, it's nice. I'm going to put this laundry away, then I'm going to go collect my meds, so that's done, and then I can come home, shut the door, and get on with the rest of the stuff I need to do. And then I want to update my book journal because I've not made my spreads for this month yet, so I want to make my May spreads and then update the 2 books that I've finished this month. Then I want to, well, then I need to edit a TikTok. I want to edit another YouTube video because I have posted 1 this week, but I'm still like 5 videos behind. So gonna try and get back on that and just work my way through my list. Lucas is now away for another 2 nights, so I feel like I kind of want to lock myself in for the weekend, but also I should probably go for a walk at some point and do some sort of exercise. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. One day at a time, very much one day at a time. Hopefully we're still in spring at the moment. I don't think I'm ready for summer yet, but that's the update. Reading is the thing that I'm meant to talk about in these vlogs. I've been so tired the last couple of nights, I haven't had the energy to pick up my physical read, which is the Kite Runner, but in going to the dance studio more, I've been listening to lots of my audiobook, which is Daisy Jones and the Six. I think I'm very close to the 50% mark, but I'm really enjoying it. It's so much fun. It genuinely feels like a documentary, and I have to remind myself that it's fiction. It's so much fun. I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a good time. I'm intrigued to see where the rest of the story is going to go. I'm really not sure how it's going to end. But if I can get through everything on my list today, I think I'm going to try and have an early night and get lots of reading done. Good morning. We made it to Saturday, and it actually is the morning. It's okay, it's nearly 11, but still the morning. Today I have pretty long to-do list, but also it's mostly content. I need to publish the blog post that I drafted the other day. I need to edit and post a TikTok video, and I would like to edit and post another vlog because, like I said, I'm super behind on those. First, I need to go and resume the hunt to be able to actually pick up my prescription because my normal pharmacy could only do some of it, and that means I have to go into town on a Saturday, which I normally avoid doing because it's busy and there's parents and children and just a lot of people. But yesterday I incentivized myself to go out and at least try to fulfill my prescription by allowing myself a little browse in Hobbycraft, and today the little reward I'm going to give myself is going for a browse in the range, and I might go to Greg's as well for lunch. Cannot confirm or deny whether I will or will not come home with a sausage roll. At least that's what we're doing now. We're going to start the day with this, and then I think we're going to have a very computer heavy afternoon. But I'd really like to smash out this to-do list, maybe even make a start on tomorrow's to-do list, and then have like a really chill reading day tomorrow. That would be nice. Though there is warnings for a thunderstorm, so I probably won't be able to read in the garden, but I could go read in the spare room with the ambient noise of rain and potentially thunder in the background. Both sound quite nice to me. It is Saturday evening. I don't really have much to update, to be fair. I went into town. I had to go to 2 different pharmacies, but I did get my prescription. I only have one more bit that I need to fill now, but that bit's not as urgent. I went into Waterstones and I got a few clips, as you probably will have seen, but I managed to resist buying anything. I'm being quite good with my book buying ban this time around. And then I went into the range and I just didn't really fancy looking at anything in there. It just felt a bit samey. There wasn't really anything new, but I did pop into the works on my way back to the car because the most recent Thursday Murder Club book by Richard Osman has just come out in paperback, and we own the whole series in paperback. So I thought about picking it up, but then I thought, actually, with the book buying ban and everything, this book's gonna be in the works for ages, so I might as well wait until I have more money and then buy it. There's no point buying it now for the sake of it, especially because I'm keeping all of the books I buy this year on a separate shelf, because last year I made a here's every book I bought this year and whether I've read it video, and pulling out all of the books I'd bought took ages. So I thought, actually, if I just keep them all on one shelf, and then I can make that video at the end of the year, and then I can make either another video or I can have a nice afternoon sorting out my shelves and slotting them into their places. So granted, that is 7 months away, but it's what I'm doing. It's how I'm organising my books. So even if I did buy it now, it would sit on that shelf until the end of the year anyway, so I might as well wait till the end of the year to buy it. Though the Waterstones edition does have purple sprayed edges, but none of my other editions have sprayed edges, and the Waterstones edition would be more expensive than buying it from the works. Anyway, either way, so I did those jobs in town, picked up a little sausage roll for lunch, came home, sat on the sofa, edited a TikTok, and then I was going to edit a YouTube video, but I felt really sleepy, so I put on some YouTube on the TV and had a nap. Then I made some dinner, and the new series of Doctor Who started tonight, and even though Lucas isn't here, we both lined it up on iPlayer and pressed play at the same time, so we virtually watched it together, and it was interesting. Doctor Who is... It sounds silly to say Doctor Who is a big part of mine and Lucas's relationship, but the very first day we met, we spent the evening watching a new series of Doctor Who together, and we're both massive Doctor Who fans, so it does feel very significant. This new season has kind of been huge. They've had this huge relaunch. They did the specials for the 60th anniversary last year. It was the first episodes since Christmas with Ncuti Gatwa. the new Doctor, and it's the first season since they've collaborated with Disney Plus, because it's now airing in the rest of the world on Disney Plus, and you can see that budget from a mile away. Yeah, I wasn't blown away by the first 2 episodes because they put the first 2 episodes up at once. We were both saying, we had a little FaceTime debrief after we watched them, and it just felt quite childish. Like, at the end of the day, it is a children's show, but it's always been done with that kind of BBC element of class, and like there was literally like a huge fart joke at the end of the episode, and it's like, it just, yeah, it was a bit tongue-in-cheek, a bit, not even, no, it wasn't tongue-in-cheek, it wasn't that subtle, it was a bit too slapstick, it was a bit odd. And then the end of the second episode, awful. Both Lucas and I were really thrown off by the end of the second episode. I won't say anything just in case you want to watch it, and I don't want to spoil the surprise, but the end of episode 2, really disjointed. I can come up with 3 different ideas off the top of my head on better ways to end that episode. Really odd, but you know, my love for Doctor Who will never die, and we'll just see how the rest of the season goes, because maybe the writing will get a bit better, maybe they won't go so mad with the budget. The title sequence, the graphics in the title sequence are gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. Yeah, will be interesting to see how the rest of the series goes, and how much of it I will have to virtually watch with Lucas, because he works pretty much every weekend, so very unlikely that we'll be able to watch any of it in person together, other than Comic-Con weekend. And then I'll do a big reading update tomorrow. I've not done much reading this week because I've been shattered. Hi, it's like 20 past 10. I've just muted my lo-fi piano girl, whatever's on TV, and my husband is getting home from his work trip in about 20 minutes, but I genuinely can't remember if I vlogged today, and I know I definitely haven't ended this vlog, so I thought I would at least try and tick those boxes before he gets home and I inevitably get nervous about talking to a camera. This week has been such, I don't want to say a bad reading week, but it's just been a very slow reading week. I've had such low energy, and I don't know if that's come across on camera, but I really don't know whether I had a cold or if I had really bad hay fever, and now that I've started taking hay fever medication, I'm feeling better, or if that is just the cold getting better. I really don't know, but I'm feeling a bit better now. Still on the journey to try and figure out my meds. I've been to so many different pharmacies in the last week and a half. It's ridiculous, but hopefully we're getting there. Don't have any answers, but I'm gonna keep trying. Reading wise, I really haven't read much, to be honest. I finished reading The Reappearance of Rachel Price on Monday, which feels like a lifetime ago, and I've listened to a good chunk of Daisy Jones and the Six because I've been too tired to read my physical read, which is The Kite Runner. I literally read like 20 pages and I haven't read it since. So I've been listening to Daisy Jones and the Six whilst in bed and falling asleep to it, and then trying to rewind and then playing catch up, and it's been all over the place. Some weeks just be like that. They just are. So I'm rolling with it. I have, I think, uploaded 2 vlogs this week as well, so I'm slowly catching up on that as well. Who knows where I'll be by the time I edit this one, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you're reading a great book. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you at some point in the future for another bookish video. Bye!